Hello and welcome to the Queber channel. I'm Jason, your host. I hope you're having a wonderful day, that you've had a reason to smile, and that life is okay. I'm talking to you now late at night because something's interesting me. My brain won't let me sleep until I talk about it. This is going to be like an introduction of to why, the other reason why I am so interested in UwU Underground, the band. And it's because let's go in the Wayback Machine, 1979. I was visiting a friend. I was 9 years old. He was a local friend, and he was one of the only people who I really got on with well. He used to fix TVs and into electronics, and he had an entire, basically his house was like a Christmas tree for me. It was like there was always parts open, computers in parts, little bits and pieces, old mechanical equipment back in the 70s. And I went to visit him one day. I wasn't supposed to go visit him. I was 9 years old at the time, but I was just around the corner on the other side of the green where I live. So and he was looking a little bit worse for wear. You see, the thing is, if you don't know, CRT TVs, the big ones, the old ones, carried a capacitor charge, both in the big glass system and the valve, and the actual big capacitors, and they could kill you. And from what he told me, he'd basically touched the wrong thing and hadn't grounded it beforehand and got thrown across the room. So his hair was like out as he'd been given an electric shock and that. I didn't understand this at the time. It's although I knew the basics because remember, I'm autistic. At 6 years old, I started taking apart my dad's hi-fi in the living room. I was always into tech. So he had a little box there. And when I asked what it was, because I didn't notice this before, it was about this size, a little box thing. And when I asked what it was, because I was always very nosy and curious about tech, he plugged this into a phone and started making sounds with it. And then he made a call. And that was my introduction to phone phreaking, to accessing, manipulating, controlling certain infrastructures. It was the early days of that. And then it moved on, I evolved, I went into computers, started of course with the spectrum and everything like that, but very quickly got onto the bulletin board, the systems that were available back then. Then the Amiga, lots of LAN parties, lots of hacking, game copying, the different scene groups and everything that used to connect and organize via the net services. It was wonderful. I did some things that I still won't talk about now. I've talked about them with a couple of people I really trust, but let's put it this way. When I was 19, I did some stuff that meant, to protect myself, I printed out some stuff and I kept it in 3 different locations with 3 different people who I trusted. And I basically told them, if I disappear, use this. Some of it was always even kept in a abandoned shop that had been shut down for water damage, and we had the key. Damn. Now, I stopped doing anything like that. I was a good boy after when I met Paola. I decided I was put aside all that kind of extraneous activity because I wanted to spend all my time with Paola. And then when Paola got ill, I wasn't going to do anything that could bring to light anything I'd done in the past. I will say that nothing I ever did any harm to anyone. That it was more the challenge. These were my Everests. These were my mountains to climb. For an autistic into this kind of technology, that kind of thing was, I had to beat it. I had to crack it. I had to find out. And so I've kept my eye to it a bit. I've kept my ear to the ground. I kept in touch with some people. I watched for certain things going down and that. Sometimes it's what doesn't get put on the news that tells you what's really going on. Sometimes it's all smoke and mirrors. And if you've ever explored that kind of thing, so I'm being very vague, but then again, you have to be in this. So that's my past, and that's why when I was introduced to this music, yes, I thought it was wonderful. Not just the music, but the whole animations, the ARGs, the information, the way it was coming through. But very quickly, after re-listening to the first song 3 or 4 times, I realised that there was an undercurrent to this. There was more to the song than just the surface level. The stuff they were mentioning, the words that were being used, it wasn't just, oh, this is catchy, we can use this. Oh, this is surface. No, this was coming from somewhere of knowledge. This was talking about things that actually happen. This was telling a story. This was, how can I put it? The information in the disinformation. When you've been trained in certain ways and you've seen certain things like systems analyst and pattern recognition, you realise that what you're being told is only a percentage, and sometimes it's completely wrong. What's going on underneath? What's the Easter eggs, the keys, the facts, and that? And how can I put this right? I'm trying to say it without saying lots of things because let's just say it made me smile. And the more I listened to the music, the story that we were telling, I knew enough to know, oh shit, they were actually not just telling a story, they're getting information out. They're letting people know about things that have happened in these secret wars. Because for many years, you've seen a little bit of it. Anybody who's not completely oblivious will have heard the news about the new wars going on between hackers and so on, and all this thing to do with Ukraine and all that. But that's just the surface stuff. That's just the stuff they want you to know. That's the stuff to let you understand a bit of what's going down. There's red team, there's blue team, there's seriously bad actors, but a lot of it is very much a grey area. But there is a war going on, and it's been going on for years, and I noticed when I started to listen to this music, really listen to it and re-listen to it, that there was layers of obfuscation, but there was also truths coming out in this kind of stuff. This is the kind of information you only get from people who were there, people who have done stuff. And this was just made me happy. It made me giggle. It made me laugh. I was actually listening to some of the songs and I was going, yeah, this is that. And it's all wrapped up in this wonderfully done language and story. It's interesting because it's very important to keep a balance, to protect yourself, I mean, look at me. I still won't talk about stuff that happened in the 70s and the 80s. My nature is not, even though I can't lie with my autistic, my brain doesn't deal with Cthulhu, but I can compartmentalize, and there's certain shit that does not get talked about because there's people who are still involved with all this kind of thing, and I don't want to put people in thingy. And the UwU underground, if I could put it in my own words, is a group of brilliant, intelligent people with a hell of a lot of knowledge who have seen and done things and not only want to counter the narrative but also want to get that information out. There's heart and there's soul and there's thought in every single part of that music. When I listen to it, it's not just the music, it's the story. And the more I listen to it, the more I think these girls are absolutely fucking kick ass in what they've done. Because you can't fake this kind of stuff. The funny thing is, to fake it, you have to know about it. Faking it is part of what you have to do if you're involved with all of that. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's social engineering. It's psyops. It's bait traps. It's trying to create situations because I think people understand enough to know that there is no what we call black and white. It's all grey areas. Even as far back as the First World War and before then, bad people were employed by nearly every government in the world to stop other bad people doing worse things. It's all about perspective. You cannot win this kind of war by following the public's recognised version of right or wrong. You'll get screwed so easily. You have to step outside certain things. Most people who are involved with this have their own set of ethics, their own set of code that they follow. And I respect that a lot. For UwU Underground to be putting this stuff out there so people know what's going on. Those in the know, those that actually follow this kind of thing, are the top tier of the tech people, the IT people, the people on the front line of these fights. That's been going on in the background invisibly. Every single computer in the freaking world is getting attacked in some way or other. And this is the other side of why my brain gelled, why I really connected when I heard this music, why it allowed me to get past my triggers to do with Paola's death, to be able to listen to music again, and that, because this isn't just music, this is goes all the way to my tech affinity. I mean, I still mess around. One of my hobbies is pen testing and that. I mean, that's why I have my little baby here. I love playing with this. It's my little toy. Don't know whether I'm still supposed to have that these days. But yeah. The more I learn about the modern stuff, the more happy I am that there are people like UwU Underground willing to actually tell this story. Because real fights, real wars like these that are going on all the time, between corporations, between state actors, between bad actors, between terrorist cells, between freaking you would have not, if you knew some of the shit that goes down out there, you would not sleep. And I love it. It's like candy to me, this kind of stuff. I absolutely adore it. I'll be doing some videos where actually I've got permission to be able to show some of their music on my videos, on my vlogs, because I want to actually break some of them down and analyze them on video with you all and show you what I mean. Of course, I'm very much. I always also already feel quite protective about UwU and what they stand for. So I'm very careful about what I have figured out myself, that I won't be saying that. And I'm just happy to be able to listen to the music and to hear the story. It just makes me feel that this is part of the universe that makes sense to me. It's never been about right or wrong. It's always been grey areas, everything to do with this. I mean, for example, was it wrong for someone to make certain public telephone boxes free to use so the kids in a poor area could listen to the local pop music through the channels that they did back then? Was that wrong? Technically, yes. Did anybody really get hurt? No. Did a lot of kids get to hang around phone boxes and actually listen to music? Yes. Anyway, I'm going to upload this before I second guess myself and don't. So take care of yourselves.